So the next story is that DC has cast their Shazam. Sorry, I was waiting for the lightning. And then it's Zachary Levi, who we might know from playing oh god, what's his Thor character? Fandral? No. But from Chuck, he was the lead character in Chuck.
Yeah, he was Fandral. Yeah.
Fandral, that's right, yeah. I knew it was fan something, but I couldn't get the last part. Now, this is actually interesting for me. And because we were talking about this before, because we knew who was Black Adam. The Rock is going to be playing Black Adam. And so I was like, all right. And there was reports when he was, cast for this that they basically go, which one do you want? Do you want, basically in wrestling terms, do you want to be the face or the heel? He's like, I'm being the heel, man. So he picked Black Adam. And so everyone's like, okay, well, who's going to play Shazam? Are we going to get Vin Diesel? And they're naming off all these muscle men. And then for Zachary Levi, I'm like, he's got to put on a lot of muscle. Like, because he's not where he might, I think he's tall, but he's not, ripped, especially if he's going to be going up against the people's champion. At least if not in the first movie, they will be crossing paths.
I grew up with the Captain Marvel Shazam character, reading the comics from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and he wasn't. Superheroes didn't used to be all that jacked. If you go back and watch Christopher Reeve in the Superman movies, that was more of a superhero build for a long time. That's what we looked at, and it wasn't all like here's your 22-pack abs in every shot like it is today, which is not a bad thing at all. And I'm certain that Zachary Levi can pull that off with the trainer and everything else. And it's not like he's in bad shape now. But the essential of the Shazam movie has been, what is this movie going to be like when we've seen what is many people believe is a very dark DC film universe. And if these characters are supposed to exist in the same universe, which, since they've said a bunch of times that Black Adam is supposed to not only get his own movie, but may even go up against Superman at some point, then is that darkness going to bleed over into what was probably the most kid-friendly comic character lead that DC had, because it was brought in by another company. It was the Fawcett Comics, and then DC acquired them by suing them into existence. And what I see from this is Zachary Levi, while maybe not the first person I would have thought of to play Shazam, is a great choice in the kind of movie that I would like a Shazam movie to be, because he is a big smiling guy. He's a lot of fun. He is deep in the nerd culture. He is everything that I would expect someone in that suit to exude. But he then also has to play kind of the straight guy in the character, which is a little weird, because Shazam was kind of like, he was a young kid in an adult's body, but in that adult's body, he got the wisdom of Solomon. He got the gravitas of Zeus and all these other godlike characters. So I'm not sure exactly what this is going to be, but I kind of trust it more because of this choice than I would have even someone who I would enjoy, like a John Cena that was bandied about for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely look at it like the body style is the only thing that, because I'm taking this from a lot newer of, understanding of the comic book characters and just with how they look, and all that. But trust me, I dig the fact that they did cast Zachary Levi. And it's also why I never do when people ask, like, well, who would you cast? I'm like, no, I cannot play casting director, because I would probably do a lot of the picks that everyone else would do. And wow, I didn't even think about Zachary Levi for Shazam.
Yeah, John Hamm was somebody that was talked about from the fan side of things, and was, to me, a pretty stellar example as to, oh, that could be a lot of fun. And again, because John Hamm can do humor and do lightness of character as much as he can do very serious things like in Mad Men.
Yeah. And it's the other interesting part for this for me is, like, I had heard that there was this unspoken rule that wasn't really going to be much actor crossover between the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC film universe. I'm assuming that's what the F is in FU. Um, so this is actually going to be the first, the first, bigger star to be in both cinematic universes here. What do you guys think about that part? Because I mean, here, you look at other, rivalries in the nerd culture, and we have crossovers with that. Like I know George Takei is one of the first, if not the only person to be in both Star Wars and Star Trek. He was in, I think it was Rebels.
Oh,
or not Rebels, Clone Wars.
Simon Pegg is Scotty, and he's Unkar Plutt. So
yeah. Well, no, see, that's why I said one of the first. And they're not like the only people.
I really don't see this. I don't see them having Zachary Levi also play him in the Marvel universe, and I don't see any crossover happening.
But no, I mean, but like we said, he's Fandral in the Thor movies.
Yeah,
and then he's also going to be like, we don't really see that with like the only other person who has done, like Chris Evans. Yes, he has done those. Like he was in here, and then he was over here. But it's like
and Ryan Reynolds was Green Lantern and Deadpool. But far as
did he play Green Lantern?
Yeah, it's referenced in the beginning of Deadpool.
And a lot of these are pre the universes where it's like they were more just licensed out to other studios to make. But now that it's we've got essentially two big powerhouse studios, they're doing their own films and stuff like that. I had heard these reports that
it's not like Fandral is a major character so far, and honestly, Zachary Levi didn't even play him in the first film. How many people noticed when he switched over in the second Thor movie to somebody else? And how much do we know that he's going to be in Ragnarok? I would love to see a Warriors 3 Sif spin-off or something, or even a short, because they're talking about doing the Marvel shorts again for the Blu-ray DVD releases that they stopped for a while. But it's the same as anything else, is he should get his due. And Zachary Levi is someone that I think could easily play a superhero character, and it's finding the right fit for him. If it wasn't this, he could have been a good Green Lantern. It's really hard to say what spot he would have filled, but if you're in a part at Marvel that is not a giant role and you're not signed on for multiple sequels and everything else like that, then yeah, you should go find the place that's going to sign you up for something a little bit more major.
And honestly, I'm looking at the list here from the article that they had other people. They had John Cena, who had met with the director, Derek Thieler from ABC Family's Baby Daddy, Zane Holtz from Dusk Till Dawn, the series, Billy Magnuson from Bridge of Spies, and then Jake McDornan from the TV series Limitless. I look at those and I'm sitting there like, okay, a lot of them, I don't see the potential for big, with the exception of John Cena, to have this be their breakout, silver screen role in there. So I still think that this is I love the casting choice. I think this is great, but I don't know, because I still feel like this is going to be like the Shazam Black Adam thing is going to be a little bit ways out, because I think they're doing a Black Adam movie, separate, and then like they will meet or something.
I'm hearing more about the Shazam movie being closer to filming than I hear about the Black Adam movie being closer to filming. The Black Adam movie to me is in the same boat as Gambit, which is we've talked about it for a good number of years, but when it actually is going to land is anybody's guess. The Sandberg has been saying for a while, like he's put up the script and photos. He's teased a lot, and he's mocked Twitter to a certain degree, saying, there's absolutely going to be people who are going to love this and people who are going to long for my death after this comes out. So it'll be fun to see who lands where. But I like that about him, is because he's got a good sense of humor going in just about how people are going to react. And how do you handle that? That is such a scary place to be in Hollywood right now, is being in charge of one of these fan-based properties. And there's the potential for a huge payoff if you're James Gunn, who does everything right with Guardians of the Galaxy, that had low expectations but made everybody happy, or you're the person who makes what is a quality movie but then everybody pisses on it because, well, Avengers 2 wasn't as good as Avengers 1. It's and I'm going on a limb by saying that Avengers 2 was a quality movie, but whatever. It's tough. It's hard to even think about wanting to be in that position. That's why I think so many people come in, sign up, and then walk away.
No, yeah, definitely. I think these are great. Like I think this is honestly a great discussion, and I think the fact that no, see, this is what confuses me a little bit, is because Shazam is going to be at New Line. So is it in the DC film universe, or is this like essentially an Elseworld story?
It could just be a production thing. It might be as similar as Hulk being at Universal, although that's a little bit bigger of a deal. At least New Line is still under Warner Brothers, and they have the map for this. But it could just be like, we want to put something on New Line's map that we can both lose money on if it's not a huge success, or it can make their year by being there into the DC film universe. I don't know the ins and outs of that, of course, but that's the way that I would see it being. And it may also be just like, we did this because this is where this director was and we wanted him to work on it, and he's under contract for that production house instead of the other ones. Patrick, do you have a favorite superhero comic book property that you haven't seen yet? And if you were able to cast it, what would you do?
That I haven't seen yet. The first one that comes to mind is Ms. Marvel, the new one.
Yes.
The Kamala Khan. Yeah.
Yes. How is that comic not going? How is that not more active? It's so good. And I would love to see that, even if it's just a TV show. I want to see more with that. And I want to see that in the MCU. Especially after Captain Marvel comes out.
And that may be the thing, is Captain Marvel's secondary characters, like the things that you would add on to her. With Iron Man, obviously you get Rhodey. With Captain America, you get Falcon and Winter Soldier. But Captain Marvel doesn't have a huge group of characters that would be. They've been using Alpha Flight characters with her, which has me kind of excited. And depending on how they go with the movie, is like, if we get Sasquatch and Puck from Alpha Flight, that would be really cool, even if they're just secondary, and then maybe something with Alpha Flight happens one day. But you're right. I love Kamala Khan. I think she's terrific.
No, yeah, I was actually really excited that you said that. Do you have any casting choices that you would see with it?
I hadn't really thought about it. And, I'd love to see him. It's obviously a young character, so pick somebody relatively unknown, and it's their big break. So
now, are you familiar with? Because I think she's in the Avengers Disney XD show.
I haven't watched that. No.
Yeah, she's in.
I need to watch that though.
Yeah, because they bring her in there, and actually, that's the one thing that I've been applauding for. With them doing this, is because they've been able to do, and this is coming from someone who hasn't really been following it like he used to, but they've been doing these stories a lot more like they from the comics, but just animating them. I think they had her at one point as a central character in the Avengers TV show, which is really great.
Yeah, cool.
There's Stephanie Beatriz, who's from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, has been posting pictures of her in cosplay as America Chavez. She loves the character and wants to play her up on screen. Now, the argument is that America Chavez is usually portrayed as a teenage character, but it's just kind of incredible to see someone in Hollywood picking up on what is this mostly only known to baseline comic book fans and jumping all over it and saying, I really want to play this part, which is, we're in a point where Hollywood has made comic book heroes more financially exciting than ever. But it's still really cool because America is a still relatively new character. And this is an actress that I really like in her Brooklyn Nine-Nine role. And when I've seen her in parts on like Modern Family and stuff, it just seems really cool that this is a time that we live in now.
I look at it, and then obviously I'm going to do the obvious one here because there is still the tie here. Miles Morales Spider-Man. This is one that I have said, numerous times on here, and Corey's always gone, well, you're going to have the backstory, and, all sorts of like, no, you don't. No. We didn't have to have the backstory.
I have a problem with the backstory in the comics.
Yeah, you have that problem. And I'm like, but no, they've simplified it by confusing it a little bit, but they're basically just like, don't worry about it. Don't. Here's him. Follow him now, not where he was, because we're sort of getting that. I feel like we might get that going on with the at least the TV, like the animated TV side of things. Sort of similar to how we got the birth of Miles Morales, where we had Donald Glover going, I want to play Spider-Man. He had the Facebook campaign and the Twitter campaign going for it, and then we got Brian Michael Bendis took note and created Miles Morales Spider-Man. I think we could see something like that happening with Stephanie Beatrice doing this.
So and Sony is supposed to be doing a Miles Morales animated movie. They've announced it a couple years ago, so I don't know what the status of that is. But yeah, I'm perfectly accepting that they can do that in the films or TV shows. My problem is just trying to explain to a new comic book reader where the hell Miles Morales came from and why his history is so convoluted when I'm trying to sell them comic books, which is fortunately not my job anymore, so I don't have to deal with that headache. But as a once, twice, three times a retailer, it still kind of sticks in my craw a little bit.
Here's how I always counter that because I say, hey, you like how in Spider-Man, the cartoon shows, he's always a kid in high school? That's this. Because you look at the Peter Parker Spider-Man comic books, he's older. He's got Parker Industries, or it blew up, so he's going back to the Daily Bugle and all that stuff. But now we got counter over into here, and this is him as a kid. You can relate to him. You're a kid. There we go. Haha.
Well, now that we've had Spider-Man Homecoming, it would almost be cool to see the reverse and have Miles Morales be the adult Spider-Man.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
For more on this Galactic Network podcast, go to gncast.com. That's GNCASTS.com.